What is up, everybody? We're back with another episode of the Chronically Motivated Project. I'm your host, Chris Ruden. And by you listening to this podcast today, you give me every right to tell you what you don't want to hear. Here at the Chronically Motivated Project, we talk about effective thinking and how to get over the hardest situations you'll ever face in your life. Today's episode, Monday's motto: you have the life you are willing to put up with. I was going through Facebook and I saw a bunch of people with so many negative statuses. I mean, you start scrolling through Facebook, you think like everyone's puppy just died or something ridiculous just happened, because everyone is just complaining and bitching so much about something. But I saw someone complaining about their job, a job that they applied for and they're working at, not like slavery or anything. They're literally working there by choice, and they're not happy with their choice that they made because it didn't work out how they wanted it to. So they're working there by choice, but they can't leave. Not because they're forced to stay, but because they can't leave. Everyone puts up with something that they don't really like. I do. Everyone does. You do. Everyone is putting up with something that they'd rather have it a different way. Actually, make a mental list right now of all the things you really don't like, that you're putting up with, but you'd rather have them different. You probably start to get a few, and then they start to pile up, and you start thinking a lot like, damn, there's a lot of shit I put up with that I really don't like. Everyone puts up with something they don't like. The problem is that we put up with this stuff, and when asked to change, or when you want to change, we always blame it on something or someone else. Everything is always someone else's fault. I can't change this because of this. I can't do this because of that. This person screwed me. This situation sucks. It's always this just endless internal audio loop of dissatisfaction in your head. And then you never do anything about it because it's too hard. It's not that easy. I never said shit was easy in life. Nothing is fucking easy. Everything takes work. Everything worth getting takes work. But you have what you're willing to put up with. You can always do better. You know you can. You know in life you can do better. There's been something on your mind that you've wanted to change for weeks, maybe in months or years. There's something you've been thinking about that you don't like, but you put up with it. Why? I'll tell you right now. Fear. Failure. Fear of failure. And even your circumstance. Chris, you just don't understand my circumstances that I'm in right now. The circumstances that I'm in, I can't do anything about it. Let me introduce you to Stoicism, lightly, very lightly. I've been dabbling in Stoic philosophy and reading a lot of the Stoic philosophers because I truly think they're one of the most effective thinking philosophies out there. But a Stoic philosopher named Seneca actually said, "We are mortal in all that we fear, but immortal in all that we desire." That is a super deep quote. Super, super deep. And it sounds like it would be under some Instagram chick's, photo of her half naked. But it's actually really deep and it has some weight. We are mortal in all that we fear, but immortal in all that we desire. What that means is, when it comes to fear, it's real. We are able to be hurt. We are so scared of all the things that could go wrong and all the things that might happen if I were to change jobs, or if I were to get out of this situation, or if I would have get away from that person that just hurts me, but you put up with it. We're mortal in all that we fear, but immortal in what we desire. Immortal in what we desire, meaning we think that we have forever. We think that time isn't ticking. We think that I can do it later. There's enough time. I don't need to change jobs now. I mean, yeah, I might be happier if I change jobs, but I'll do that later. I'm sure everything will work out in time eventually. I'm only 20 years old. I'm only 30 years old. I'm only 50 years old. Holy shit, I'm 60 years old. What happened? We are not immortal. What's funny is we put our desires to the wayside because we think like an immortal. We think like there's more than enough time. But we hold our fear like a mortal. We hold our fear like we are so sensitive and soft. And we're just terrified and controlled by the fear of change, the fear of doing something. We're so afraid to be happy. We're so afraid to do things that might suck for a little bit. But what's funny about that is we're afraid of changing our current situation, which sucks. We know. Specifically, you're putting up with something that sucks. We're afraid of changing that sucky situation for a potentially better situation, but we settle for less and live an unhappy life because we're so afraid of change. We're so willing to put up with shit we don't like. That blows my mind. How is that possible that we are okay with, life happens once that we know of. Regardless, I don't care what your religion is. We're living this one life once. Okay? One time. How are we willing to put up with things we don't like? To go where we don't want to go? I can understand, if you're building a business or doing something you really love in life and you have to grind and it's going to suck and it's not the most fun, but you're doing it for a desired outcome, that's great. But if you're doing something that you don't like with no end in sight in hopes that some sort of miracle is going to happen, that's just not effective thinking. That's not going to help you be happy or live a quality of life or enjoy anything. It just kind of blows my mind that people are willing to live this unhappy life. Let's take it back to Seneca, that Stoic philosopher. He said, "He who indulges empty fears earns real fears." Deep. No, but for real, what that means is the fears of if I don't go to this job and I try and find another one, maybe I'll never get a job. Maybe no one will hire me. Maybe I'll be broke. Maybe I'll lose my home. You start maybeing yourself to death. If I leave this person, they treat me bad, but if I leave them, I might be alone for the rest of my life. No one else will like me. You create all these fake realities. They don't exist, but you create them. And these empty fears end up earning you the real fear. The real fear of being stagnant in that job you hate. Being with that person that didn't treat you right. Not doing that thing you always wanted to do. Letting go of that business because of the fake fear. And now the real fear sets in. The real fear of regret. That's a real fear. Not doing what you should have done when you know you should have. Those empty fears earn you the real fears. Stop blaming your problems and fears and all this other shit on other people. Stop using those uncontrollable circumstances as a crutch, like some fake ass overdramatic soccer injury. Stop. Your circumstances are not a scapegoat for your personal decisions and behaviors and actions. Your life is a representation not of your circumstances, but rather how you act and how you deal with them. There's always something you can do to impact your circumstances. Always. Let's take women, for example. Women had it hard in business and couldn't even vote or be seen as equal only a few years ago. In reality, let's think about that. Black women in business had it extremely hard. Given the circumstance alone, Oprah wouldn't be one of the most influential and successful women today. Let's be honest. Given circumstance alone, a lady named Ursula Burns wouldn't have made it from the projects to the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company you know as Xerox. She became an intern and fought her way all the way up to eventually becoming the CEO of a company. Hell, given my situation, I should be this depressed, disabled, diseased guy who enjoys parking in the handicap spot at McDonald's because of my circumstance. Fuck that. My circumstance doesn't define me. Your circumstance doesn't define you unless you let it. Circumstances are overwritten by those not willing to put up with them. Simple. If you're fighting for your circumstances, you have them. Those are yours. They're a real thing. But if you choose not to accept them, you stop putting up with shit you don't want out of life. Screw where you're from, or what you have or don't have or whatever. Like, I don't care. Fuck that victimization cloud that you claim is tethered to you and just bad luck follows me. I just can't do this and I can't do that. Oh my God, poor me. Shut up. Shut up. I'm tired of hearing it. Everyone's tired of hearing it. Hell, your grandma who sees your statuses on Facebook is tired of hearing your shit. 100%. Everyone. And if you're that person that constantly posts those statuses about why you're the victim and why your circumstance sucks and why you can't do this and why you can't do that, I guarantee you have so many people rolling their eyes every time they see you post. That's the reality. Your life is a representation of what you're willing to put up with or not put up with. Do yourself a favor. Earlier I asked you to think about all those things that you put up with that you kind of don't want to. Try doing this. Get yourself a whiteboard. Hang it up wherever you can see it. Write down every single thing that you put up with that you don't want to put up with. Write it down. What don't you want to put up with? Do you really fucking hate your job? Is there someone in your life that shouldn't be, that you kind of want to cut out because the negativity is killing you? Is there something that you're pushing off and it's really bugging you? What do you put up with that you know you shouldn't put up with? Write it down and make it real. It's already real, but it's so easy to ignore because you just kind of deal with it. Write it down and acknowledge that you don't want to put up with it. A great life can be made simply by the process of elimination and the willingness to do something about it. It might not be easy or fun or whatever, you're not going to always enjoy your life, live every day like it's your last. Like, no, that's not life. But you'll thank yourself for it. You'll thank yourself that you chose to try rather than suffer a lower than deserved quality of life. Your life shows what you're willing to put up with. Everything you have right now, to this moment, everything you have right now is because you're willing to put up with it. If you think you deserve more and you don't have it, you don't deserve more. I don't care if you put in X amount of effort or you've been busting your ass or you're doing more than everyone else. Everything you have is indicative of what you are willing to put up with. I'll be real. I could put in more. I could put in more work with my diet. I could put in more work with my blood sugar management. I could make it a lot better. And I'm putting up with being average in my sense. I know that. And I'm being open with you guys. I am not perfect. I could work harder in some parts of my business. I could. And I put up with mediocrity sometimes. I'm doing the same challenge you guys are doing. I'm making the board where I'm showing what I don't want to put up with in my life anymore. Because this topic is so real to me. I start thinking about all the work I put in and where I think I should be, and then I knock my ass back down. Stop playing the victim. Stop saying why I'm not there. The only reason why I'm not where I want to be is because of me. You have to understand, the only reason you are not where you want to be is because of the decisions you have made to put up with the shit you don't want. Your life, as is, is a representation of what you're willing to put up with. Change it. Make the choice. Do better. Do that thing you've wanted to do that's been on your mind forever. Don't put up with bullshit. Start looking for a new job, lady. Stop complaining on Instagram and Facebook. Think effectively. Do something that's going to help you and improve your quality of life. Don't make an excuse for your circumstance. Find a reason that you can make yourself successful. That, ladies and gentlemen, is Monday's motto. That concludes it for today's Chronically Motivated Project episode. I will be here all week, literally. I will be posting tomorrow for Trash Talk Tuesday, talking about how bad social media sucks. And on Thursday, for Donuts and Diabetes Day, I will be talking about all the magical cures for type 1 diabetes. That's going to be an exciting episode. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at Chris Ruden, on Twitter at Chris Ruden, and on Facebook, facebook.com/Chris Ruden Official. Thank you very much, and I will see you tomorrow.